Bloody hell. I forgot to add myself to my own stream. You'd think I'd remember by now. There we are. Yes. Good evening. Just a general chit-chat update. Sorry if you can hear background noises. It's been a while since I've been doing 3D printing and dusted off the old machine and get it all running. Got some little projects on the go. So who do we have here? We have JR. Good evening. Mr. Hemi. Good evening. Angela. Good evening. Count. Billy. Reminds me I'll have to do a vampiric avatar at some point. D-Man. Yes, everyone, gentlemen. Just a general chit-chat and catch up, or ketchup. So, good chance that after this stream, it's not going to really be left on my channel or public kind of thing. So, if you're going to plunder it, do it while you can. And if anyone wants to come up on the channel, it's pretty much an open topic. Any conversations, topics people want to have, let's go. How about it? Until then, I'll just ramble on. Some things have been happening in Billy Land. So, today's been a pretty busy day. For instance, I'll do it in a backwards order just to be awkward. I'll start off with some good news. Where do I begin? Good news. I got my car insurance renewed, and I managed to get it cheaper than I did last year. A bit of blagging, a bit of getting on the telephone. And remember telephones, them old things? Yeah. I find a little insurance tip. I don't know if it's going to apply to everyone across the world, but at least here in the UK, every year I phone up the insurance company and I say, like, any chance you could, like, bring my premium down a little bit? And they're happy to oblige. So I've stayed with and credit to my insurance company. They have done me good, solid, each and every year. Even if I do shop around, I can't beat the one I'm already with. So, they deserve my loyal custom service, whatever, my loyalty. And so yes, that's always a nice thing. Especially recently, this month has been a pretty expensive one for me. Having a little one, getting bigger now. I tell her she's not a princess, but Jesus, she doesn't want to hear those words, and money's no object to her in her mind. So, I kind of I thought I was being smart. She said she has a tendency, she's not very aware of time. So she might late in the afternoon be like, "Oh, Dad, I want to go out." And be like, "Darling, it's already kind of like dinner time." But she won't take no for an answer, and I haven't got the resilience to say no, so I'm a bit weak in that part. But I thought I was going to outsmart her, and I said, "Okay, you want to go out? All right, I'll take you to." Normally, I ask her, "Where do you want?" Here's a clever. All right, before I get onto that, I've said this story before, but it's. I love retelling it. It's a short one, and it shows you how smart kids are, how reverse psychologized they can be. So, as many already know, she's brother one, you're here. Yes, how are the chickens? She's autistic, and she has a bit of a speech impediment, so she kind of slurs a little bit, and a lot of people can't quite understand what she's saying because her English is kind of broken up a little bit. So how do I recall this? So she says, like, "Dad, I want to go out." And I go, "Okay, yeah, you want to go out, do you? Where do you want to go?" And she says, "McDonald's." I go, "Oh, you want to go McDonald's?" She's like, "Yay!" I'm like, "Ah, crap. I fell for that. I fell right into it. You know, made it seem like it was my suggestion to take her to McDonald's. But anyway, on this occasion, McDonald's was out of the window. I thought, all right, you want to go out? I'll take you to IKEA. There'll be nothing there for you to buy, and it'll be a long walk going around the store. It's like a 2-story building, and it's pretty big. I'm sure most of you have IKEAs or are familiar with it. So we're walking around, and yes, I was correct in that she was getting tired and knackered. However, IKEA have updated since I've been there last, and the toy section. Well, I didn't really think it was much of a toy section before, but now they got Lego. I was like, oh my god, the IKEA brand of Lego. So there I was thinking, I'm not going to spend a single buck, absolutely nothing, and the kid will be knackered. Instead, I was the one. Well, we were both knackered, and somehow I managed to spend like 50 quid, all on her. It's like, oh, serves me right. So this month has been expensive, basically. Has been an expenditure. She's had a school photo holding an owl. I think they had an eagle as well. That was $5 for a photo. But how often do you get to hold? I never got to hold an owl in my childhood, so fine, $5 for that. Now they've got a school disco. £3 for a school disco for 45 minutes. Easy money. And they even got the cheek to say, like, we're going to have some snacks and drinks and, knickknacks or whatever. So give the kids some pocket money to spend at the disco. The disco is only for the kids, so the adults have to, like, piss off and or come back later kind of thing. So that's probably what I'll probably come back later. But I've never really given my kid pocket money for her. Well, I suppose it's an opportunity. First time, it's like, here you go, there's some money for the disco. And I told her, like, look, if you're good and if you're what did I say? Like, I didn't use the word disciplined, but I was like, look, if you don't spend the money, you can keep that, in your pocket for whenever, you can spend it elsewhere in some other shop. You don't have to spend it at the disco. But if you do, obviously I'm not going to be around, so you better, get your maths up to par and be ready to do some calculations, because once your money's gone, like, or you spend or you try and buy something else more than you have, get ready to wash the dishes or something. Well, I don't know what the equivalent would be at a school. So got that, and then the car insurance as an expense. The supermarket. Every time I go to the supermarket, I'm always stocking up, prepping. So on the whole, for the last, I don't know how long, like the year or so, I've been my grocery shopping is typically more than it would normally otherwise be, because I'm stocking up. But now I'm kind of like having to ease back a little bit and actually like use some of my rations, my reserves or whatever. And it's good to use them up anyway, because to cycle through your pantry. So I've been eating out of like tin cans a little bit recently, living like a hobo, but it's not too bad. I'm also growing my herbs, so I'm able to and the weather's getting better, so the plants are growing a lot better now, so I'm able to kind of like herbify my spag bowl. And as well, the prices in the shops are going up, as everyone knows, cost of living, etc. I'm also able, now that it's sunnier, I'm able to use my solar generator a little bit more. Not much, but it helps. What are the shenanigans? And so for the school disco, my kids bought a dress. First time wanting lipstick. They're getting to that age now, lipstick and makeup. And oh, my little baby's all growing up now, kind of thing. I'm gonna have to kick her out soon and get me a dog. So what are the comments saying? Yeah, yo, is that A stress is what a stressor. Sorry, I'm not very good at keeping up with comments while I'm jabbering away, so I'm not sure what angle you're saying. If you want to come up, bro, or anyone else, should I drop a link? You go, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, Chrome Dome's here. Greetings. Yes, the fish with horns. And I keep meaning to update. I actually keep thinking about, sprucing up the avatar. It's not really anatomically correct for a goat now, if I'm honest, is it? But anyway, so I'm just thinking, well, I've got a Amazon order on the back burner. Because to use the 3D printer, you have to use an SD card. And my computers, I don't know, because I keep putting cards in and out, in and out, in and out for however many years now. I think the slot in that my PC is worn out. So I was looking to get a kind of like an external card reader. However, why get extra crap when you can use your manly skills and fix things? So how do I fix it? You stick a ice lolly stick, a wooden stick that, the width, the thickness of your card. You shove that in that slot and you wiggle it around until, well, I don't know. And then you try again. Because I think what's going on, you got on the SD card, you've got this little save tab, so you don't overwrite information. I'm guessing inside the machine or inside these drives, there's a little switch, a little lever that goes in and out depending on where your save depending on where your SD card, that little bloody thing, is positioned. So I'm guessing it kind of got stuck in the do not overwrite position. So I could read cards, but I could never. Well, for quite a while now, I wasn't able to save files on the card or delete files that were already on the card. And shoving a lollipop stick into your computer seems to have fixed it, and hence why my printer is now running again. So yeah. So dodgy repairs, they're always the best ones, aren't they? But now it's kind of made me think, because there I was filling my Amazon basket with a kind of urgency, because it's like I need my SD card reader working, throw in a whole bunch of other stuff like, I might as well get an oil filter for the car, might as well get a cabin filter for the car, might as well buy some Miracle Grow for my plants. And now it's like, can I put that stuff off now? Can I delay it all? Do I really need it all that bad? But saying that, I do have another issue which reminds me with the car, and this is a bit embarrassing, but I shouldn't feel embarrassed. For some reason, when I put on the air vents, I'm not talking about what do you call it? Air conditioning. I'm just like the regular air vents, like the blower motor. When I turn that on, suddenly I can smell shit inside my car, and it really does smell like shit. I check my boots, I check the floor mat, I'm sniffing around the seats. I'm like, no way did I crap my, and it seems to come into the car when I turn on the air vents. So I don't know if any of you guys in the mechanical world have a quick reason why that might be the case. I'm guessing a bloody animal has climbed up inside my engine bay and has fucking died. Maybe right up into where the airbox is. I don't know, but it's pretty revolting, And especially with the weather getting warmer, you're trying to get some cool breeze in your face, and you're blasted with the smell of shit. Yeah. And that's gonna segue onto my next rant. So we'll have some actual topics. So what's going on in the UK? The UK is falling into despair. It's a lot of people's countries. Everyone's got their gripes, but and for a long while I was I'm pretty tolerant with things. Things, people, things not going whatever, topsy turvy or whatever. I'm like, that's cool, as long as it doesn't really directly affect me. I'm not too bothered. But it's now getting to a point that it's hard for me to ignore, where they're changing the rules of the road so much so that it's basically becoming it's more than just like a hassle. It feels like you're sort of almost like putting yourself in jeopardy, where you're at the mercy of cyclists and pedestrians, where they have no accountability. Like, by law, they're not given any accountability, so they could quite literally just step out in front of your car intentionally and you'll still get in trouble for hitting them. Or if it's a cyclist, we're even just being, I think, within 1.5 meters of them. So as a driver, they're expecting you to basically like go on the opposite side of the road if need be, or even mount the curb or something if a holy angelic cyclist, a butterfly cyclist, comes anywhere near, because they fit in the vulnerable category and you have to drive into a ditch to save their precious little lives. So that kind of thing aggravates me massively. And like, I'm sure everyone is familiar, like a lot of cyclists just feel like they rule the road. They don't pay anything in road tax. They go through lights, they're on the pavements, they're cutting corners. They're the ones who are, I mean, they're in a vulnerable category, yes, because they are the bloody danger. It's not really the driver's fault. So that's another expense, because I don't have a dash cam, but now it's kind of like, I'm going to have to get a bloody dash cam. I don't really want to have to get one. I'm not one of these kind of high-techy type people. It's kind of funny. I've got 3D printing, and I do like my Photoshop with my avatars and things. But I'm actually, like, I don't have a smartphone. I still can't really get my head around like what is an app? You mean it's basically a program? So what's the difference? Why do we call it apps? There must be some sort of reason. So all this and like cloud storage in the cloud, I don't really get that kind of stuff either. I don't want it in the cloud. I want it on a hard drive. So when I had my old car was a 95 model Civic. It was basic, bones, nothing fancy, and that was fine for me. My newer car is all, in a sense, it's not really luxurious, but compared to my old one, it is. It's got electric windows. It's got a car alarm. Ooh, it's got a fob key, so I can central lock it. Like, I can lock it without having to put a key in the door. I mean, that kind of stuff is like magic to me. I'm like, wow. So my car's got an LED LCD computer screen, and I'm like, oh my god, it could tell me how much fuel is in the tank, or how far. It could tell me if my passengers have their seatbelts on. I'm like, come on, man. How much weight is that adding to the vehicle just in fancy techno babble crap? And it's got a basic CD player. When I got the car, I had to put in my own MP3 player. There's like all this fancy technology, airbags in every bloody corner and all this stuff, weight sensors in the seat so it could tell if your passenger is underweight or something like that. And it's got it had a basic kind of crappy stereo system. But yeah, so why was I ranting about technology for? I'm lost in my own madness. It's something to do about this country going down the pan and cyclists. Whatever. We don't need them. Get rid of them. Well, but it is getting ridiculous. And all these policies, these changes, these schemes, go on, sign up to these. Like the school payment system is all online. Her reports are coming in online. It's kind of like, I don't need this crap. Keep it simple. But obviously that's not the point when they're trying to have the new world order. That's the last thing they want. There's no stone left unturned is their policy. We're going to fuck around with, we're going to tamper with every little thing until we go around in circles and tamper with it again. And that's how it feels like, especially with the motor car infrastructure constantly changing. 1 minute it's a one-way lane, next minute they're closing off roads. Now they're putting cameras on the roads. It's kind of like, yeah, okay, I get it. All right, cars are the scum of the earth. Okay, fine, I'm the scumbag. All right, I'm still not going to bicycle, even though I'm thinking about getting one. But I'm still going to hold on to my driver's license. Damn it, I've just paid for a year's car insurance. So let me just quickly breathe, Billy, breathe, slow down. We're here for a chit chat, not a rant. Like, Jesus Christ, Billy. Island Hermit's here. Hey, man. Red Scout. Scout. Keep your ears to the road, or keep your eyes peeled. Let us know what's going on. Get him in a lookout tower or a watchtower. He'll be our canary in the coal mine. No, we wouldn't do that to you. Right. Well, it was good to see you guys all, checking in on each other. How is everyone doing? What's up? Howdy, all, Hermit? Yep, this weekend, Hemi. Yep. Anyone have thoughts on Musk Twitter? I don't care much, but all the guys at work are talking about it. As far as I know, basically he's buying up Twitter. Twitter had been a bit awkward about it to begin with, playing hard to get, but I think he's actually managed to buy it for $44 billion. I don't know if that's meant to be a bargain. I mean, how many of us have billions to spare? What's he going to do with Twitter will be interesting. So I think it might be a little bit early, but I'll be interested to know if they're talking about it at work, D-Man. What is it they're saying? So let's see. Empathy has been left. You know it. I know it. Yeah. Empathy is a big topic. Oh yes. So I hate cyclists with their helmets. Yes, I'm actually teaching my kid. All right. So I'm teaching my kid how to ride a bike, and I think I left it too late. So she's all wobbly. I'm trying to hold on to the handlebars to stabilize her, and she's because I'm stabilizing her and because she's going slow, she's leaning either into me heavily or she's leaning in the opposite direction, like pulling me over. So she's getting a bit frustrated with it, especially when younger kids are whizzing past her unaided. They've got their independence and they're already whizzing around. And I'm trying to tell my kid, look, just go for it. Don't worry if you're wobbling around. Don't worry, you got legs. You're not going to fall over. The faster you go, the more stable you'll be. And I'm trying to explain that if you're going slow, this is going to be why you're going to topple over. But it's a bit heartbreaking because she's got this self-doubt in her. So she's like, I can't do it. No, I hate my bike. And it's like, so it's like, so you've got self-doubt, you've got frustration, you've got anger, and it's like, it's awkward, and it's a bloody backache because she's at that kind of awkward height where I'm semi leaning over to hold the handlebars, and I'm trying to pace with her walk along with her while she's riding, and if she does pick up speed, now I'm kind of like semi jogging with my back half bent over, like like a gimp or something. I don't know, like some sort of troll limping into the night. Well, not quite into the night, but you know, oh my back, I'm getting old. But so, and that's another thing. So my Amazon order, stabilizer wheels. Whether or not that's going to help, I don't know, but at least it might save my back. Who's in control, really? Exactly. Well, that's exactly like locus of control. So this is why it's important to take stock of what's within your power, what is actually within your locus of control, because quite often I hear from people they get in their, you know, panties in a bunch over things that are really out of their control. It's out. It's beyond. It's past that boundary. It's like I'm not happy with someone because they're not doing something that I want them to do. It's like, well, you don't. It's not really. Come on, you know, you can't make demand. You can't expect people to change because you said so. You know. Now, some people you can kind of advise them or whatever. Maybe they will change. But it won't be because you made them change. It's because they've decided to change fundamentally for themselves. And but a lot of these people that we're upset about, you know, like feminists or whoever, they're not going to change. They're only going to change for the worse, you know. And obviously, they're not doing that for your benefit. So maladaptive is a preventer of any change taking place. Now, if you are able, if you are able to sort of differentiate between like what's out there and what's in here, you know, what is beyond your control and what is within your control. But when you do allocate your energy, your time, and resources to where it belongs, i.e., yourself, you'll probably find that you can get a lot more done, and your position will have progressed. You know, because part of what's keeping people stagnated is the distraction of focusing on other people. So sometimes that's intentional. It's like, I don't really want to self improve, or it's too hard, or I'm scared to do it, or I'm frightened, or I don't know how. So to occupy myself, to keep myself distracted from that, or prevent myself from doing the things I should be doing, I will focus on other people and try and control them. So be careful of that kind of coping strategy. It doesn't do them any good. It doesn't do you any good. And if anything, it's probably gonna, you know, over time cause problems because you end up neglecting things that you could have addressed a lot sooner. It's kind of like, you know, back at school, like you get assigned some homework and then you got plenty of time to do it, but a lot of the time, kids, you know what they're like, students or whatever, they leave it to the last minute, and then it's all panic mode. I remember once I went to a house party the night before I had to hand in an essay, and I was like, you know, everyone's all drinking and smoking and having a good time, and I was like, guys, I've got this essay to do, and I haven't even started. I'm gonna have to like, I had to tell everyone at the party, like, look, I'm gonna lock myself in the kitchen. It was a friend's house, so I I confiscated their kitchen or whatever. I barricaded myself in their kitchen. I was like, look, you guys are gonna have to like, I need to get this done tonight, and I can't have any distractions. So luckily, I was what, I don't know if it's a saving grace at all, you know, but I was adamant or whatever. So I managed to secure the kitchen. I could hear the party still going on, and I was trying to focus. I managed to get the essay done in probably like a record time, probably so that I can go back to the party. And from what I recall, I don't think I got a good mark. I think I flunked it. So it shows you a snapdash effort, even though it might be well intended. You know, fundamentally, I let myself down. And we all know that kind of thing. It's not a good idea to leave it to the last minute. So where are we? So D-Man says some guys were hyped up about the Twitter deal. I don't pay much attention to MSM these days. Well, I think if you got stocks or shares in the company, they probably would have gone up. Now is a good time for investing if you're into that kind of thing. A lot of power and money is transferring hands and ownership. A lot of deals are being struck. A lot of companies are going bust. So although it might be a good time to be making money, be careful. It might be a good time to be losing money as well. So it depends on your personality style, I suppose. If you're a bit of a risk taker, if you like that kind of thing, then you might find it exciting. But if you're someone a bit more who likes it like stable or consistent, playing it safe, then maybe keep a watch on what you've got and have it secured. Something a bit more that doesn't fluctuate as much. So what else have we got going on? That's becoming a very big challenge. I'm not sure what you're talking about there, Angular. Does anyone want to come up and chat? How do I drop in? I'll drop it in here, but I don't know how to pin it. How do you pin the thing? Because I've seen people do that sometimes. Oh, I can put myself in timeout. I can block myself. Billy, you're pissing me off. All right. Oh, hang on. Somehow I managed to show. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. It's all right. We don't need to know, really. So other things that have been happening this month. The doctors have approved my transition. I'm going to become a woman. No, I'm just joking. The doctors have changed my insulin. Ah, something just made a noise. Oh. It's Angler. I think it was you. I think that was meant to be like a knock at the door. Like a dunk. Angler's in the house.
Billy, how you doing?
How you doing, bro?
I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm just going a bit crazy, just jabbering away like a nutter.
You know, that's one of the great things about this community is that we can come here and do that. When we just got to unload some shit, and so
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting for the accusation of like, you just like the sound of your own voice, and be like, no, my own voice is driving me insane. The echoes of my mind.
yeah. You know what? Fuck them, Billy. You are one of the smartest people within this community. You know,
Nah,
bite your pride. Bite your pride. Okay, but you really are. I mean, I'll leave it there. Okay.
Well, that's very kind of you. There are many men. I think if we manage to get into the red pill philosophy or the MGTOW community and all this kind of thing, like we dodged a bullet sort of sentiment, then we are all blessed in that regard.
I agree 100%. And I think that guys that get into this community, we learn so much more just by talking with each other, and the conversations, they become deeper and deeper and deeper. But
definitely so. Yes. And you get experiences from all over the world as well. Like a lot of
yeah,
what I'm talking to are America based kind of thing. I mean, Shinobi is on the other side of the planet. I'm not sure where the other guys are. I'm guessing States. Oh, Ghost McTow didn't say hi yet. Sorry, man. He's also here. And Indy McTow. Who else have I missed? Jim. Good to see you. Jim.
Oh, Billy, you got a lot of heavy hitters in here in your chat for sure.
Oh yeah. It feels strange, because like it says I've got 8 people watching right now. I remember the times when I had only 1, and that was me.
Okay. Well, that's what we got to do. I'm really surprised that your channel is not bigger than it is. I mean, that's nothing against you. It's just the content that you put out and the knowledge that you speak. I can't believe it. It's not bigger than what it is.
Well, I'm not surprised. In fact, I've hit 80 recently, so I'm even taken aback. I'm like, whoa! I'm used to like 30. So I mean, I've noticed that your subscriber count has kind of when you first appeared, sort of thing, it kind of shot up. So it's good to see with yourself there. I've been around since like 2019, but I'm not surprised my count is low, and I'm not too bothered by it. And I know everyone sort of says that anyway, like, well, I don't care about the subs, I don't care about the likes, but with the kind of stuff I put out, I mean, I come from the world of pain and trauma, so it can be a bit uncomfortable for people. So I understand why people might not want to subscribe, because they don't want to hear it.
Right.
And to be fair, I spend more of my time on streams than I do making content. I'm a bit laxed there. Not laxative, but I mean,
Okay.
I'm a bit blocked up. It's a bit of a strain to push one of those videos out.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And doing the whole stream thing on my channel isn't something I'm too. It's a bit. This is going to sound a bit of a cop out, but because my channel isn't solely based on like the red pill, manosphere, MGTOW, like, I've got viewers who have no idea. They've never heard of the pill philosophy or MGTOW or whatever, and they're women. Some are people from school. Some are survivors from narcissism. So I'm not sure how well they would take like a stream like this, for example. And
well, I think that goes along with trying to meet people where they are, and trying to meet them where they are, and trying to have a conversation with them. I mean, I think that's the best way that you could help somebody. Is a lot of these people, they have no idea what the fuck's going on in their life, and they just need someone to meet them where they are.
yeah, that's why I try and make my content more for kind of like academic direction. So I try not to drop in the acronym of MGTOW or Manosphere. I've dropped in a couple of times the red pill,
Right. Yeah.
but I try and keep it like mainstream, universal, just in case. And this is partly how I've managed to avoid getting banned and striked down or shadow banned or caught up in the censorship malarkey type thing by playing it kind of PC, socially acceptable, that kind of sort of way. Now I appreciate the idea of people having like free speech, but there might come a point in the future if I do live stream like this one, I'm gonna let it go. Like, feel free to speak however you want, swear or whatever. But in future, I might have to sort of, I don't want to say police, but have a bit of moderation or something like that, consideration for the types of people who might be listening. Oh, and he's gone. Oh, I wonder what happened there. Hopefully he'll be back. Maybe there was technical difficulties, or or who knows. Now I've been my abandonment issues have kicked in, and
Me.
oh, dunk. That's such
Okay.
that is such
Bye.
shit
All
door.
right.
I don't know if you might fix that up, but it's a little kind of like a dunk. So what the
Yeah.
fuck is that?
But, I think that I understand what you're saying there. We can't baby these kids forever. Everybody's got to grow up sometime or another. But at the same time, you got to have a place to come out and, you can't be that positive person out in society if you can't come here and get rid of the bullshit that you don't want to carry with you while making that person.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I kind of say, well, that's why I go to other people's streams usually, so then I can just sort of say whatever I want. And
Me too.
I'm so
Yeah.
grateful that they have the policy of like free speech, because then I can actually be more my authentic natural self, rather than, because not just like I'm trying to say I'm censoring everyone else who might be on this stream on my channel, but I'm also censoring, I'm part of that as well, because I have to be careful how how it is when, like, you can't red pill a blue pill person, and if
Right.
you just hammer at them with like red pill stuff, you'll end up
Yeah.
looking like a lunatic.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work, right? Yeah. So I have to kind of have that in consideration, at least on like the format for my channel, because I don't know who might be listening. Like, you know what? I was on that parental course, and I was training up to be a sort of like a coach, like a parental advising coach type person. Some of
Okay.
those people were asking for links to my channel, and if I've got on my channel like down with feminism, they're all fucking cunts and all this sort of stuff, I'd be like, whoa, who are we about to employ? So
Billy, I'll tell you what, you have the true gift of gab. You know how to talk to people. Now, I know that at certain times, I've heard it that you just want to cuss somebody out. I've heard it, but 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 you are very good at talking to people, and man, you're doing a lot of help within the community. And this is how we make it bigger. There are so many smaller channels out there. I don't think you're small. What you have, like, close to what, 600 people now?
hey, what are you talking about? What
800 people?
what subs, followers?
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
followers, my lackeys. No, I've only got like 80 subs, only like 15 more than you.
Okay. That's enough. I mean, I've got, my thing has been, going between 60 and 65, and that's a lot of people to manage. I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine having thousands of people.
Oh, no, neither could I. Yeah, that'd be crazy. Yeah. I'd be like, wow.
But
The responsibility. I mean, even when I had 30, I was beginning to feel like, damn, I've got 30 people following. I mean, granted, some of them might be like trolls or something like that.
yeah,
But even then, I was feeling a pressure of like, I'm gonna have to, like, uh, have some appreciation for that, and
yeah,
provide a bit of content, or I don't know, whatever. And it slowly grew more and more to like 40, then 50, and it's like, wow. And it stayed around 60 for quite a while. Like, if you watch on the Bleeding Edge in the intro, I don't know who made that intro actually, but it shows that I've got 60. So since that intro was made, I've gained 20 more. So that's a bit of a leap for me. And now I'm at 80. So I'm really am feeling like, and it shows because now there's 9 people in here watching, whereas before, I might only have 1 or 2.
yeah.
So I'm getting more noticed, but that is not really, and it sounds a bit cliched. It might sound like I'm bullshitting, but it's like that's not really my.
Mhm.
I can't allow myself to be um focused on like, ooh, I've got 80, ooh, I've got 100, and ooh, there's like now 10
Right.
watching. I've got
Who cares?
it's like
You know?
well, it's like the same reason why I can't keep up with the comments in the chat box, because I'm having to sort of dedicate mental energy into like, right, what do I say? Something that's useful. I'm not just talking utter crap, and I'm not just making shit up. Um, I've
Yeah.
got a bit of a responsibility here to be uh, honest and true to people, and to try and keep my information useful and
Mhm.
articulated and on point, etc. So I can't. If I was to be focused on like my so-called fan base or subscribers in that way, like attention seeking, then the moment I do that, you'll see the quality will drop, because
Yeah.
then I'll be, I don't know, like, well, you see it with other channels. It's like word salad or something like that. It's just like you watch a video and just meh, it means nothing.
Yep.
They're churning out. It just becomes like a churn machine. So I'm trying to avoid that.
Billy, I've come to the same conclusion that, yeah, I mean, you just got to be truthful, share what you share. And it's wild out here. Some of these guys, they learn how to get, thousands of subs. Um, but like I said, I don't really care about that. I care about the community. And I think that a lot of us, smaller channels, that we can really help do that, you know, that we can really get the word out here a little better. And I'm trying to start this thing, which I don't remember at all, but trying to plug other creators, that are not necessarily included within our community. Now, the community is huge, so it's impossible for us to follow everybody. I'm going to try to make this as short as I can. Please bear with me.
No, go ahead.
Um, but we all have, we have people within our community. This is our corner, and there are other corners out there. There's a lot of guys doing this, so I guess I'll leave it right there.
Yeah, well, you're coming from a very a warm and caring and compassionate place, and that's it speaks volumes. I mean, in some ways, it's almost like I don't know about other people, but you can feel such a vibe that almost like no words need to be said about it. But you're doing good, man, because like weeks ago,
Yeah,
a lot of us guys were worried about how you're doing and things like that, and to see
yeah.
how you're progressing and how you're still with us, um, and you're growing, you're able to speak up honestly about it. I mean, this is the healing. When we talk about like recovery, healing, therapy, and things like that, this is part of it. You might not realize it, but you're actually, it's part of that that hard, long slug, however they call it, of like grinding and busting your balls and getting yourself out there. Because
Well,
in you expressing yourself, showing your appreciation, you're rewiring your mind as we're speaking.
well, Billy, I also hear in your voice, like it almost sounds kind of tired. Like it almost sounds like you want to tell somebody to fuck off, or I'm gonna punch you in the face. But you are a very patient man. You have a lot of patience, and you have a lot of knowledge. I mean, a lot of what you talk about is stuff that I've been studying for years, in books, online, and all that stuff. And you've already got this stuff in your head.
Well, yeah. Oh, I didn't do much reading. A lot of, I don't know. Maybe it's because I just been jabbering like a lunatic for like how long now? Nearly 50 minutes. So my throat is like, it's close to midnight. Uh, Let me sip my coffee. Hold on.
All right. Well, I think good brother sent me a text message, but I don't think he's coming in here. But anyway, Billy,
Yeah.
you are one of the most important people that I have met.
Oh
You know,
no, no,
doing
no,
this.
no,
No,
no, no,
stop, stop.
no, no, no,
That
no.
that's no bullshit. Um, I ain't bullshitting. Okay. Now, all these guys out here are important. I mean, they really are. But Billy, do not sell yourself short. You have a large amount of intelligence, and you have a lot to share with people. Um, you, the manosphere, especially MGTOW, it's not boxed into anything, but we all come from, different standpoints, of what happened to us. And Billy, you've got a lot of knowledge to share.
Um, no. I appreciate it. It's very kind of you and everything. Now, in all spirituality of truth, pretty much everything I say, all of you deep down already know. It's just you don't know you know. All I'm doing is making you realize that shit. Actually, you already know this stuff. I'm kind of like introducing you to parts of your mind or yourself that maybe you overlooked, but you all pretty much know the same thing I do. Because if you're agreeing with it, it's like, oh yeah, shit, I never thought of it like that. Well, there you go. It's because you've already the uh the pathway, or how can we put it, like the the knowledge is already there. It's just the pathway of the neuro link of your mind wasn't made clear to you. So hopefully that's what I'm doing. I'm just making it clear so that, or hopefully making it clear or whatever, so that people, yourself and everyone else who is listening, can make the connections for yourselves. So it becomes your knowledge. It becomes your own discovery.
And that's the thing, Billy. A lot of times, a lot of these guys out here, trying to make their way, they really haven't had a good teacher, from a male point of view. To and once, you know what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. Well, guidance and
Yeah.
so what I'm helping trying to do with people is to guide them. I'm not doing the work for them, you know. So, and this is like the direction I wish to go into is kind of like counselor therapy, sort of like a coach or mentor or whatever, and
Mm.
work with people on that emotional level to get past it. Because in my own past and upbringing or whatever, I too was like emotionally screwed up. So it's important if for my own recovery, to understand, and this is partly why I'm into the whole psychology and philosophy so much, and how it emotionally is all connected for my own well-being. So this is kind of like me giving myself a bit of self-care, and respect by trying to understand the mechanics and mechanisms inside my own mind. And so if I could share that kind of caregiving skill to other people so that they can do the same thing, then I see this as a positive. And again, not for necessarily for myself, but for the people who it benefits for themselves. So in many ways, I'm learning. If this was like a classroom, you might think like, oh, I'm at the blackboard, but actually, I'm in the seats with the students like the rest of us. I'm learning along the way with you guys.
Hmm. Billy, I feel the same way that you do. I'm just further behind. So,
It's not. This ain't a competition. This ain't a race. It doesn't
oh
matter.
no, no, I know that, and I'm not making it that up. I'm just trying to show an example, that I feel the same way that you do. I care about these guys. I care about myself. I care about you. Um, I care about all these people, coming up, and because I know it's a, for lack of better words, it's a race for, I don't even know how to put it, a race for society. Just I wish that men and women could get back in harmony with each other, but that ain't fucking happening.
Well, not at the moment anyway. It's something that it would be nice, but until we as men can sort ourselves out first. I mean, even if the opportunity were to present itself, unless we're ready for it, we wouldn't be able to um, participate. We're not. We need a lot of training still,
Right.
and it's partly what the whole philosophy is about. And men go in their own way. So, I mean, I would describe it as this is the fight for your life. There probably wouldn't be no other fight greater than this one. Why? Because this is the fight for your self esteem, your identity, your soul. There is nothing greater than that.
Mm.
And I'm quite literally. I know people go to war. I know people have been to war. They've been shot at. They got bullets in them and things like that. But when it comes to the mind, the battle of your mind, your soul, your heart, and all this sort of stuff, your emotions, that for me, the way I see it, is more devastating than losing any limb, really.
Yeah.
You
The
see,
mind,
yeah,
that's very heavy stuff. Yes.
right. I mean, this is why they target it so much, and this is why they're trying to break people, not physically their bones, because your bones and your body will heal. I mean, there are people who have lost limbs, and their life is fantastic. They don't really see themselves as being disabled.
Yeah.
Some people actually, it sounds a bit weird, but by losing a limb, say, they gain a better appreciation for life. Like in my case, like I became a diabetic. I didn't lose a limb, but I became a diabetic.
Mm.
And often I wonder, like, if I had a choice, would I be cured? If they gave me a cure, would I take it? And I'm not too sure. I mean, I think I would, but there's a part of me that would be a bit. I've learned a lot from being a diabetic, and it's a bit weird, but a lot about like I can't live recklessly because it makes me feel absolutely sick and shit. I might not like stabbing myself every day with needles, but I have to do it. So that's a simple lesson of like there are things you're not gonna like doing, but if it needs to be done, you're gonna have to do it.
Okay.
And pain is only temporary, and then once you've done it, you'll probably find that you feel a lot better afterwards. And when I'm taking my insulin, very much so, so my sugars will go high and I'll feel awful. My muscles in my legs kind of, it feels like my blood has turned into like rust or something like that. And it can be quite painful, especially if you're going up and down the stairs with a very high blood sugar, you're pissing a lot and things like this.
Okay.
You take that insulin and it feels like, I don't know, maybe like what heroin might feel like to some people, or something like that. It makes you feel rejuvenated, or revitalized, or something like that. Suddenly now I've got energy and I feel alive again.
All right.
So, yes, like life can give us kind of hard sort of circumstances. I mean, it's like that. What is it called? A proverb, where like pain is a teacher if you let it. That kind of thing. So yes, we've all kind of been through traumatic backgrounds, but it's those kind of things that help give our lives a shape or character. We might not like it, but it becomes who we are.
Right.
It depends how we want to internalize it and process it. Like like with yourself there, Angler, like with what you've been through, you can see that it's only added to your compassion for other people. It's only added to your empathy for other people. Now, it might sort of break your heart to see what's going on, but one, when you recognize that what goes on is beyond your control, so it might be unfortunate, but it's not your responsibility in that sense. But when it comes to the quality and type of man that you are, it shows that you have a fucking heart. Like a beating heart, a good kind of heart, a compassionate heart, and that's a high value. When we talk about a high value man, I don't consider like six figures and assets and possessions of property as a high value man, with nice garments. What I consider a high value man is someone who's got a fucking heart and has like principled morals, ethics, values, who has their integrity, dignity, self-respect. I mean, that kind of stuff for me is priceless. That's what I call a high value man.
I would label a man in the same way, Billy. Yes, I would.
It's not something materialistic, especially, or superficial. It's something that's at a core level that almost is like, provided the man can protect his core values and has his boundaries in place, it's inaccessible to other people unless he wants it to be. That makes it a rarity, and things that are rare are valuable.
That's a good fucking point. Yep.
So that's why it's important, like, you don't allow your integrity to become compromised, because once you become compromised, then once your boundaries and your resilience and your force field or whatever has been debilitated or whatever, then corruption starts to seep in. Now you have a bit of a problem, but as long as you kind of maintain that boundary and etc., then what's inside is dynamite almost.
That can certainly happen. And Billy, I don't want to keep you all night, man. If you got to kick me out, kick me out.
No worries.
I ain't gonna be mad.
No, that's fine. I'm happy to roll on for another hour.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I'm very glad to hear from you. I'll tell you that much.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm glad you popped up and you were here and having a chat with us all.
All right.
So what's been going on your neck of the woods? How's your boy doing, if you don't mind me asking?
He's great. I had him this weekend. We had a great time. Yeah, he's good. He was glad to come see Dad, and I think it's okay.
Good. I heard you talking. Well, it sounded like he was trying to destroy a car booster seat.
Yeah.
Did he succeed?
Boy, they were beating the piss out of this thing. My boy outgrew his booster, and I guess for a celebration or whatever, he decided to go start hitting with hammers and prying at it with screwdrivers. So that's what they did.
Nice. Well, yeah. There's got a bit of my kid has recently got out the booster seat as well, so she finds it wonderful not needing one in the car. Your kid has a similar kind of experience, like, doesn't need the booster seat. Yeah, great.
It's part of and you know what? I remember doing this as a child, wishing that I was a grown up. And unfortunately, our children think that way, but wishing that you're a grown up. Don't wish your days away, but I do remember wishing that I was a grown up, and I don't know. Did you ever feel the same way?
Yeah. You know what else? I like to say, be careful what you wish for, because
Yeah,
here's the funny thing. When I was younger, I actually wished to be diabetic. Isn't that a fucker? Because
that's a fucker. Yeah.
I had a friend who was a diabetic in school, and he would have snacks in classroom, and it was because he was eating in classroom. I was like, damn it, I wish I was diabetic.
Oh, because he had to control his sugar.
Right? Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah. So be careful what you ask for, everyone. Eh? Um,
Well, Billy, guess
but the
what?
idea,
Your wish came true.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. And like what you're saying with where when we're younger, that we wish we were older. Very much so. I mean, my kid right now is wishing she was older. She hate when I say, "Oh, you're watching," well, she kind of bounces around. Um, she struggles to keep up with her age and the idea of the future where it's just only going to be more responsibility. So she's kind of going backwards mentally. Like she's familiar with kind of like nursery songs and some of the
Mhm.
other younger reading books. So she has a leaning towards that. And I'll kind of shame. I feel a bit bad, but I kind of shame her a little bit, and I'll be like, "Come on, that's like baby stuff." And then she'll be like, "I'm not a baby." It's like, "Whoa, okay, all right, you're not a baby." And now with the school dance coming along, she's like trying to wear lipstick and wants makeup. So yeah, I
Does
mean,
does that kind of play in with the autism though?
um, no, not so much. No, I
Okay.
mean, I think it's just more of the girliness that comes
Just
out. I mean, they're bombarded with girls and makeup anyway.
just being a kid.
Just being basically, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, she's not trying to. Um, well, she's not trying to act older than she is, although she does have elements of where she may seem like it, where she's trying to take command of a situation, but that's not because she thinks of herself as like an elder in a authority position. It's just that she's just trying to be like a little Hitler kind of thing. She's just trying to control
Okay.
people. It's more of a controlling aspect.
It's
Uh,
like they're pushing the envelope, trying to see what being an adult is really like, but they're not ready to be an adult yet, and they're just kind of trying to find out what's going on.
yeah, kind of. Yeah, I mean, she's not like, for instance, she's not doing things like trying to wear my clothes or something like that. You know, like how kids might try and put on their parents' shoes or something,
Right.
or
Okay.
carry my wallet, or take the keys to the house, or try to drive the car. Yeah, she's not trying to do that kind of stuff. Um,
But is she picking at your head a little bit? I mean, my boy does this. I mean, he does it all the damn time, and I shut him down right away. But you know, when they hit, what, she's 7, my boy's 7. When they hit a certain age, they get really smart, and they're not fucking around. They know what we're thinking. They know that we're having thoughts because they're having thoughts. They're hitting that age, and then they start to fuck with your head.
yeah, well, it's kind of like a good thing. I mean, it's a sign of healthy growth, actually, really. So
Yeah.
if your kid is asking you lots of questions and is intrigued and curious, like that's a good sign, man. And sort of nurture that aspect, encourage it. And this is where being honest and open will really help. My kid isn't quite doing that uh, because I think with her autism, she has the trouble of understanding. So she might have a bit of like a subconscious awareness, but she's not going to ask like, "Hey, Dad, can you please explain what's the meaning of life?" Sort of, it's just too big of a question for her.
Hmm. Now, my sister is a psychologist, and a couple summers ago, when all this COVID bullshit started. I went out there and I stayed with her for a month, and she's a college professor, a PhD psychologist, and I asked her about what autism was, and she said that autistic people, they don't have empathy, like they have a hard time understanding how other people are feeling. Is that correct?
Yeah, they do have empathy. Um, they can do. In fact, the way I see it, and maybe I might be a bit biased, um, and maybe I'm being a bit like I'm romanticizing it, but you might hear me now and again complain about these empaths, these bloody goody two shoe empath people, these the counter to the narcissist. Right, the narcissist is evil, the empath is meant to be good, kind of thing. But the way
Okay.
I see it, someone who is autistic is the truest form of an empath I can envision. They're not faking it. Now, on paper, um, an autism lines up pretty directly with narcissism, and that's a bit of a bombshell. That was a fuck me kind of moment, because I was like, here I am trying to learn about narcissism, and my own daughter fundamentally fits the same category.
Okay.
But there is a kind of like it's like almost like a inversion going on. And one of the quickest, so because like they both, the autistic and the narcissist, they both struggle understanding emotions. They both have a problem with boundaries. They both have a problem with um,
Yep.
self-esteem. They both live in a bubble, so to speak. They both, so you see all these kind of like, they both have the same issues. They just go about solving these issues slightly different. And one of the striking ones that sticks out and comes to mind like predominantly is the narcissist will blame other people, whereas for the autistic, they will blame themselves.
Oh, so
So
now
when I was
with
going,
that self blame, does that come with them beating themselves up?
that's right. So remember I was talking about her learning a bicycle, and she's going, I can't do it. I'm no good, and oh, this bike, I hate this bike, and all this. There you go.
Okay.
So you can see why she might say something like that. So
All right.
she'll think things are her fault when they're not.
Well, Billy, it sounds like you're going to have certain challenges, but at least they're not the challenges of a goddamn narcissist. Okay. The
Yeah,
person that you're speaking about, love. Love is the answer.
yeah, and the acceptance as well, I think, goes with it. I
Yeah.
mean,
Good point. Yep.
especially when it comes with an autistic person, it's a bit of a balancing act, because on the one hand, you want to, you want to encourage your children, you want to push their children, and you want to help them self-develop, but you don't want to have an expectation of like a demand on them that is unrealistic,
Yeah.
because then you're running the risk of making them become narcissists, because if they can't achieve these goals or these unrealistic expectations,
Yeah.
they might start self-doubting, self-blame. They feel disgusted with themselves, and they got a low self-esteem. So for me, with my daughter, like, I know she's going to have troubles with making friends. I know she's going to be a victim of being bullied, sort of thing. To what extent, I don't know, but I know there's going to be challenges. I know she's going to have difficulty coordinating herself to some extent. And as long as I'm aware of these challenges and struggles that she may have, then I can be a bit more accepting and not have to have such a high expectation.
Billy, the best thing that you just said is how much you're aware of what your daughter needs and how you're going to be there for her. So everything's going to turn out all right, man.
Yeah,
It's going to take some work, you know.
yeah,
Fuck
yeah.
it.
I mean,
You-
because of so one of the reasons of me learning the psychology of philosophy, not just for myself and not just because of trying to understand my ex partner and narcissism and borderline and all that sort of stuff, but also
Mhm.
to understand the autism, so I can be a better father for her. So I don't want to sound like I'm blowing my own trumpet or something like that, but because of the
Oh, no, no,
aware
not
of
at all.
knowing that emotionally
Mhm.
this is an area that she struggles in, I invested a lot of emotional literacy with her. So for someone who's autistic, she's actually got quite a good understanding of emotions. She might not be able to regulate them very well, like she gets angry and frustrated, but I'm trying to work with her so that she understands that these are expressions because it's a message for you to self-soothe and calm. Being angry and destroying things isn't going to solve the problem. It's only going to make you more upset. And so, compared to some other autistic children I know about, I know some kids who have had to go back in years. Like instead of going to the next year in school, they've actually gone backwards, and the parents are losing their minds because they don't know how to deal with their kid anymore. And that's sad to hear because it's um it's not it makes life that much more difficult and challenging. But for me and my
Sure.
kid, we got it good in that like in that regard. Like, and I believe in partly anyway, it's because of trying to help her with her emotions and understand how to regulate herself and things like this. So
So that's going good for you. And I'm here asking questions, man, because I read a lot. I'm really into well, you know what I'm into, but it sounds like things are going really well with you, and you are a very intelligent man. I mean, you come here and you help guys out, but then you also come back here and you help guys out. So
well, we're all in this together. We're all on the same spaceship called planet Earth.
I reckon.
And um, like I'm not trying to paint like a fabulous like I got it all sorted out with my kid. I mean, it's there are ups and downs just like any other kind of household would have.
Mhm.
Um, but I have to not try to focus and dwell on the negatives and instead be appreciative of the positives.
Yeah,
Like for
those
instance, I
the
managed to have full custody of my kid, and I can be a sole parent where I don't have any interference from other people, like after school and what doctors may say and what family members may say. I mean, and as a consequence, I mean, yes, my family unit is basically me and my kid. It's tiny and small, but at the same time, I can work with that a lot easier than the extended family.
yep,
So it's kind of like trying to find the good amongst the bad and being grateful because
yep,
obviously like things could be a lot worse.
yeah. I completely understand what you're saying. Yes.
And I don't want to end up being like someone who's just bitching and moaning and complaining, because that's kind of that's like feeding. They say there's two wolves inside you. There's the
A
like the
good
positive
one and
wolf.
a bad one. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like which one are you feeding kind of thing. Well, I'd
Yeah.
rather feed the good one, obviously.
Yeah.
So I see good mothers in here. Good day, good mother, and I see did I see Baron? I saw Baron. Yes, Baron's here.
Mother, get your ass in here. Hey, Billy,
Yes, sir.
finding you was a really big deal for me. I just want you to know that. don't let's not get weird about it or anything like that. But yeah, I hear mother. All right.
Yeah. Well.
No.
You know, I was gonna say, you're right. What was that? You okay?
I'm good.
Okay.
I thought I heard mother. Let's get her in here.
Well, no pressure for a good mother. I was gonna say to you before, but I didn't want to jinx it.
Okay.
when you were having that time just before you got your tax return, um, and when you got your tax return, you were pretty elated, it seemed, and that is kind of like a quirky little thing because quite often I hear, well, not really, I don't really hear it that often, but it happened to me where you go through that shitty period,
Mhm.
and when you kind of get past that shitty period, and if you're not too bitter about it, then kind of like a karma type thing happens where a blessing in the nick of time sort of thing. And I think in some ways, I like to think it was that happened for you with that tax return. In my situation, just as I had my breakup, see, my partner thought, probably, I'm guessing, my partner thought I'd be financially kind of bankrupt. So I'll be dependent on her. But she did not realize that upon the breakup, one of my assets liquidated. So I suddenly had like, I think it was about $4,000 drop into my account. And I figured like my old car was a rust bucket. And I was like, right, all right, I lost my 12-year relationship. Now I'm gonna lose my car that I've had for 17 years that I really pride and enjoyed. So I bought it wasn't a brand new car, it was secondhand, but I mean new to me anyway. So I brought a new luxury car like I was talking about earlier, which obviously my partner never got to enjoy any of it. And she probably was thinking, how on earth did I have the money to buy that? It's just like, yeah, screw you. Yeah. So that
Bill,
was a fantastic summer, the best summer me and my kid had.
what I went through was a huge amount of fear.
Hmm.
And that turned into anxiety. Then it turned into shame, and it just went down a bad road.
Yeah.
It's something that I'm cursed with and something I got to deal with. But I'm glad that we're having laughs here right now. So
Yeah. It's good to have a laugh. It's good to smile. It's good to be able to see these bad things, not in a kind of delusional, ludicrous kind of way, but
that's the thing.
it brings levity to the
Yeah,
situation.
you got to see things for what they are. Sometimes they. One thing I've learned to do, with what I've been doing to try to learn how to meet these guys where they are, and sometimes that takes a couple days, but also, it can take a couple days to sit with yourself
Hmm.
and calm your jets, realize what you're doing, and just be cool.
Yes, yes, um, yes. Very wise because the calming and slowing down, even if you're not too sure, like why you might be doing it, is important. To have that kind of almost like instead of having a faith in a religion, it's more like having a faith in yourself. This is
That's it.
building. This
Yeah.
is building a sort of self trust. It's like instead of hoping for some future or hoping for some kind of manifestation outside, you become your own hope.
Yep.
You have trust and faith in yourself, and even if you're not too sure where you might be going, it's see the problem comes from a lot of the time with the vulnerable people the insecure people, the damaged people, etc., the impulsive and all this, there's this fear of survival. Like, how am I going to survive? I feel like I'm dying. I'm scared. I don't feel strong enough, and things like that.
Mhm.
So if you're able to reassure yourself, even if you don't know what the future may be, it's just kind of like, look, man, we've made it this far in life. I'm sure we're going to still continue, kind of thing. Just like you say, calm your jets and slow down a little bit. That goes a long way.
Yeah,
It
it
really does,
does.
because the knock-on effect, it's not just you're preventing yourself from making a mistake or being impulsive or um, or being frantic, but you're also allowing yourself to give yourself time to process how you're feeling, giving yourself reassurance that your survival isn't in jeopardy every moment of your life, like, so you can relax. So you're reducing stress and anxiety. You're moving at your own pace. So you're taking. You might not seem like you're taking control of the situation, but by slowing down and controlling yourself, you are taking control. You're
Hmm.
taking more control in that way than you are by being in a scramble, uh, panicking and fretting over things which probably aren't really in your control anyway to begin with.
Yeah.
So that's real, like, for self mastery, and that's why it's kind of like meditation, being all zen and all this kind of hippy dippy stuff. In that sense, is a very positive. Like the breathing exercises
Now,
is
Billy,
important.
I kind of have the same question for you. I mean, I ain't trying to corner you or nothing like that. I'm just trying to learn something here. How
Yes.
did you learn all this stuff? I mean, was it by reading, or are you a scholar? I mean,
No, I'm a nobody. I don't exist.
whatever. But
Uh,
okay, so I'm gathering from what you said there. You know, you went through similar shit, and you were just one of these guys that were really curious, and you learned.
I had no choice, and
Yeah.
that's the thing. And this is part of mortification, as it were,
Yeah.
where people. It's sad to say, or it's sad to realize, but in most cases, people aren't going to really make a change unless they have to, because humans like to be comfortable. We fear the unknown. We fear being uncomfortable. We don't really like having to be responsible if we can avoid it. But when you're in a position where it's like you have no other choice, you have to. It's either that or you go insane, you know. And especially
Yeah.
if you've got a kid to look
Mhm.
after,
Yeah.
then you're gonna have to introspect, self-reflect. You're gonna have to do whatever it takes, and so that's kind of like that's where I kind of come from. I come from a place of, it sounds corny, but I come from a place of pain. And that's why I specialize, and that's why I like to traumatize people. And if SCE was here, he'd say I'll be traumatizing people. Although that's why I like to talk about things like vulnerability and people's egos and their shame and
Mm.
things that they want to deny and deflect from, because that is where the solution is. That's where the answer is. The things that you don't want to see or acknowledge, that is keeping people in their own sort of slavery, in their own mental prison.
Yeah. That's well, I don't want to sound fucked up, but that's kind of comforting to hear that, I ain't the only one out there that discovered things in that way. Because yeah, that's what it is. And yeah, if SCE was here, oh shit, man, that guy's got a head full of knowledge.
It's more than just like people talk about. You've got to hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
My sort of mantra is, no, you got to break through rock bottom. You want to go to the Earth's core, into the lava. You want to go into the hot place. That's where you want to end up. You want to bust through the core. You want to atomize who you are, and pray that you can reconstitute the particles of your being and bring your sense of identity back together again. So you basically, that's mortification. Mortification is a process of dying. So you really are, psychologically speaking, spiritually speaking, kind of thing, metaphorically speaking, you want to become obliterated until you are just mere specks of atoms.
Well, that makes total sense to me. It seems like that something has to be fucking destroyed to create something new. So
that's right, and that's where the real test is whether or not, because once everything is atomized, now you've got the opportunity to reconstruct things how they're meant to be, how they should be, how you want them to be.
Right.
And this is, in a sense, this is you being reborn. Now, whether or not this is one of the biggest fears people have, because they're so holding on tightly to who they believe they are right now or who they were. Now, I think a lot of red pill guys have somewhat, to some degree, been atomized, but a lot of the blue pillars, for example, or a lot of feminists or narcissists, they're holding on so tightly to this false sense of self that they can't afford to let that go. They can't afford to have it atomized, because once it becomes atomized, who on earth is going to put it back together? There is no sense of self to put it back together.
Right.
So that's why it's a bit of a big test. Like, if you want to know if someone's got a sense of self, is they go through that kind of mortification process, and if they make it out the other side, then they kind of part in a, sort of, they pass. There must have been someone to put them back together.
It seems like that we should realize these things, up front, but it's not like that anymore. We got to realize these things on the back end of every goddamn deal. And
it's pretty, this isn't like, I mean, it is deep stuff. We cover it pretty often anyways on topics like conversations like this. So maybe we take it for granted, and we build up a bit of courage so that we can face these kind of like inner demons and these
Billy,
Yo's talking.
I don't want to keep you. If you're down for talking, I'll keep on talking, but I don't want to keep you, man. I mean, bring somebody else in there.
Well, no, there ain't no that pathetic donk, that crap knocker on my door that says there's no one backstage. It's just you and me.
All right.
Well, I'm cool. Like, probably another half hour, if that's cool with you.
I'm good.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, we'll keep going.
Right.
I mean, I think a lot about the red pill, the manosphere, MGTOW, etc., masculinity, basically truth as well. It gets to that point where it doesn't even need to be about like red pill masculinity and it's basic truth. It's so daunting, so frightening that for these people who are so scared, if we're talking about like going into the abyss to hit rock bottom, they're not even putting their toes in the water. They're that frightened. Never mind busting through rock bottom trying to reach the core of fiery lava and being reborn. Fuck that. They're like, nah, man, I can't even swim.
Well, you brought up a very good point. Truth. That truth is, man, for some reason nowadays, it's very hard for people to listen to. And, you and I, we both know what the truth is. You live, are you in New Zealand or Australia?
Close. I'm in the UK.
Okay. You're in a different goddamn country. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I just shut it off. I'm in America, and we both know what the goddamn truth is, but what's that doing for us? we're being led, you know.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. However, um, by sticking to our guns and staying true to our truth. I don't know, maybe staying loyal to our truth, or fundamentally we're staying true and honest to ourselves.
Okay,
We're not disrespecting ourselves.
right.
That shows us a level of self-esteem, self-worth, self-care, self-preservation. That means we matter. That means, not to sound too egotistical, but we are important to us. That we are not going to compromise our integrity and bend the knee because we're going to uphold our truth. And we can't live. This is one of the problems I couldn't do, is I couldn't lie to myself any longer. So I when I come up with my theories or my psychological rants, I try and disprove myself first because I don't fucking want to be right. I don't like hearing this stuff either. You know, like, I cross my fingers. I go, Billy, please be wrong, because if what I'm saying is true,
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, like, oh my God, we're dealing with the devil, kind of thing like that. So
Billy.
I'm the first naysayer
Yeah,
when it comes to my own inner critic is doing that for me. I don't want to be right. But when I do the process of deduction, and I can't skirt around it anymore. It's like, no, this is what's been going on. Like, your ex-partner has been cheating on you. I can't ignore that. I can't pull the wool over my own eyes. So I can't stand denial. I hate lying to myself. And this is part of that whole truth process. Like, if you're not going to stick by the truth, what are you doing? Well, then you're going to have to basically lie to yourself.
you know what? You just made a really good point. I think if a person lies to themselves, that's one of the most unhealthiest things that you could ever do to yourself. To your mentality, even your physicality. Do not ever lie to yourself.
No, it's you could try, but watch how far that'll get you. Watch what will happen if you do that.
Yeah.
And if you're doing that, especially if you're doing it intentionally, kind of thing, like, don't have the nerve or audacity to bitch and complain, because what do you expect
Exactly.
you're expecting other people, because what you're doing then is you're expecting other people. I mean, we just basically call it enabling, but you're expecting other people to empower your delusion. So in turn,
Hmm.
you're making them delusional as well.
Yep.
And we see how this kind of, like, the idea of narcissism spreading, or communism is spreading, or feminism is spreading. It's that kind of mechanism that's perpetuating it.
Yep. It all that shit kind of fits together, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
if and this is why I like the power of the no. Like, no, like, someone tells you the sky is rainbows or whatever, and you can turn around and say, like, no, no. They're kind of scuppered, really. There's not much they can do about it, because
Yeah.
now they're trapped in their own delusion, and they're unable to pull you into their lunatic world.
Well, that also goes along with what you were just saying, on how we cannot blame ourselves over and over and over, how we can't punish ourselves. And, we know what that leads to. If we continue to do that, we're going to end up just like these narcissistic fucking people.
Yeah, yeah, and or a version of them. And that's
Yeah.
another way it kind of spreads. So it's not just like there's a we often think narcissism is a type of person, like, this person is a narcissist, kind of thing. So it's like a category of person, and
Hmm.
that isn't really what narcissism is. It's a tool. So by being
Yes.
a tool, any type
Yeah.
of person, any category of person can come along and pick up the tool of narcissism and use it in whatever way they like. So some might use it to be lucrative and like a fun artist. Other people might use it to garner attention. Other people might use it to be a business owner and power over people, like money and wealth, and buy their way through life or something like that. So it kind of takes many forms, but it's the base. But the tool fundamentally is the same.
Yep.
It's the giving a type of person, any person, an ability to achieve whatever goal it is they're trying to achieve.
Billy, I think
you try to divert from reality.
I think that you described it perfectly. Narcissism is picked up by a lot of different people, and you described it in a very good way. And not everybody knows how to pick it up and use it. But regardless of how you use narcissism, it's not going to turn out well. I mean, it's a bad thing. And
yeah, I mean, like, this is where a more healthier approach is to understand and realize there are other tools which are more appropriate for the job. So if narcissism happens to be, like, let's say it's like a hammer, now, yes, you can go around with a hammer and just whack everything, and you can saw a piece of wood with a hammer if you wanted to, but really a real saw would be better than a hammer at that job. So with maturity comes the skill of the carpenter. Maybe this is why Jesus was a carpenter, and not just a caveman with a club. But unfortunately for these narcissists, once they've got this hammer, they think they've got like Thor's hammer. They think they don't need any other tool, and they can just basically they can just bash their way through life and shape it however. I don't know, maybe they think they're a blacksmith or something, but and they think they're going to get like a masterpiece end result. But unfortunately, where therapy is meant to be, in a way, it's not really trying to fix people. It's trying to educate, to give people the tools so that they can become more craftsmen, master craftsmiths. Is that the right way of putting it? Master craftsmith, or better craftsman, or whatever. At least that's how I see therapy should be operating, as a higher education, if maybe you could say it, like, or an emotional what is it? Why it's like emotional literacy, to give you a better understanding of your emotions, and your emotions are fundamentally tools for you to be able to address issues and problems, and the works and your projects and things like that. And Angler has dropped out. I think I might have been talking too much. So, we have Tim here. Hello, Tim. Yes, sorry. What's been going on in the chats, everybody? Sorry for not reading your comments. Boonk. That's the doorbell. Ding dong. It's the post. It's the milkman.
Sorry, Billy. I knocked myself out there.
That's all right. We thought it might have been the milkman. It's the plumber. Yeah. So I was just rambling. And
That's all I'm doing. I mean,
yeah.
So,
yeah, we're just talking about narcissism being a tool, how it spreads, how people use it in whatever way they want to. Really, it doesn't have to follow a certain criteria as such. And
that's the therapeutic
side of it.
That's the sad thing about it. It fucking spreads like a plague,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, we all in the red pill, this sort of end of the internet or whatever. We're all aware that it's spreading, and I think the world knows it too. But they've got that they're in denial. They don't want to acknowledge it. You know, in the UK, if Good Mother's still listening, she's not going to really enjoy hearing this. But they're now trying to decolonize museums. I mean, even though black people don't go to museums, apparently,
Fuck
like
yeah, they are. Yeah.
they're trying to remove anything that suggests that history was created by whites. And so I don't know what that means exactly. Like, so history has been created by black people.
Billy, I made a video earlier that talks about white supremacy and all this goddamn bullshit that's being said nowadays. And I mean, I don't believe any of it.
No, no, and I mean, I don't like harping on about race, but it's being shoved in my face now. You know, like not thanks just to Good Mother, but I mean because of like the museums and other kind of policies in England where they're like, oh boohoo, the black community and all this pandering constantly. That is bloody getting annoying now.
Like you're starting to feel like you're getting picked on.
Not.
No, there ain't no on there.
See how
fucking picked on.
But not personally yet for me. But what I'm finding irritating is the victimhood type of subversion and the attempt at trying to eradicate history, which is another kind of narcissistic type. It's like the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp situation. I mean, if Amber could kind of cover up her tracks, her past, you bet you she would. You know, hide the body kind of thing. Yeah, yeah, she would do that.
And fuck yeah, she would.
You know, that's basically what
I'm sorry.
The sort of colored community are doing.
I think Johnny Depp is going to win that.
Depends what you mean.
There's really no win in there, but if he's vindicated, you know, it don't take money, but if he's vindicated, okay, leave the guy alone. Leave him the fuck alone and let him live his life.
Yeah. Well, I think in the sense of vindication, I think he's like, it's so publicly known now, and more people are, you know, like hashtag justice for Johnny kind of thing. That, I mean, Amber Heard's going into the future, Amber Heard's like reputation, her career, her whatever is dubious. I mean, I would like to think it's destroyed, but you know how cunning these people are. I'm sure she'll be able to find some studio to give her a movie or something like that. Hashtag me poo.
A movie, yeah.
I mean, whether or not it's going to hit box office, who knows? It'll probably flop, but that doesn't mean she hasn't got a job. You know, she'll just be trying to press her luck. So these people, they still manage to find a way. It might not be the glorious days they once had, but it's not completely game over either.
That's the thing, Billy. You know what? Fuck Amber Heard. That woman has millions of fucking dollars in her bank account. Fuck her. Leave Johnny alone. Go away. Live your life with your millions and be fine with it.
Yeah.
But I guess it's not necessarily like that, is it?
Well, yes, she got the millions. So financially speaking, you know, she's set up for life, really. Like, there shouldn't be a problem, financially speaking. She's got loyal followers, even though deep down they know that she's a scumbag, but they're gonna still stick with her, and that would be for various reasons because like they'll be dependent or whatever, or they're trying to leech off her or something like that, or she might have blackmailed them or something. But her popularity will never be the same as it once was. Her status will never be the same as it was. Her praise, I doubt she'd ever be like the leader of like a survivor movement or Me Too or makeup line or voted heroine of the year award, but I could be wrong.
No, I think you're right. She's done popped her bubble, and
I mean,
she's going to try to be popular in her 50s, wanting people to come out and hang out with her.
yeah. Have you seen what Madonna's done?
Oh
like,
my God!
Like I don't know how old Madonna is. She's like 70 or something like that. But
yeah, she looks horrible too.
Yeah, but in her mind, she probably looks like she thinks she's hot shit. Like, hey, I've got my 20-year-old figure back or something. So I mean, you look at Amber's face in the courtroom, apart from her melodrama acting, but you see how she's gaining weight and she's looking more rough, as it were. Compared to her tight-skinned, younger. I mean, she's only like 30. How old is she? Like 31 or something like that. And this, she's hit the wall.
I think, yeah. Oh, she's hit the wall. Hopefully, she's pretty young. But you know what? Let her hit the wall. Give her $1 million and let her hit the fucking wall and be done. When she's out her bitching, she's probably going to. Anyway.
Yeah, and then you got the Will Smith Jada thing, so which is pretty, like, if you're looking at the kind of like the formulaic structure of it, it's pretty much the same, same kind of thing. So yeah, and I'm sure more and more will want to emulate. This is the silly thing where, I mean, you hear a lot of people saying like, "Hey, that kind of thing that's happening with these celebrities, I've been through that," and it's like, yeah, I'm not saying you haven't, but I wouldn't be surprised if these partners will want to start getting the publicity like Jada and Amber.
Oh, Billy, I think if this show just said you and me, we'd get drowned by these crazy fucking bitches coming in here bitching. So anyway.
Yeah, well, I was showing a video earlier of some crazy bitches leapfrogging on this man, trying to steal his seed. That's how it's going to end up being. But I mean, we could speculate and we could say, it's almost inevitable.
Billy, we are not speculating. There ain't no doubt about it.
I mean, it's hard to imagine them not, like, even if you were trying to argue on their behalf, like how they are somehow going to turn around for the better.
Yeah,
it's really hard work. Like how can you justify their approach or their mentality or their thought processes or their methods? It's almost like there's no rhyme or reason. Like it must. I mean, this is why, like, when they talk about narcissism, it's a self-destructive prophecy in a way. They're maladaptive. It has to, by definition, be destructive. It can't work in any positive way, because for it to be positive would mean that it would mean that they're not really narcissists then.
You know what? I don't know, but I know enough about narcissism to know that most of these girls are very narcissistic nowadays. Now, I'm not calling them psychopaths or sociopaths, but the narcissism it's through the roof.
Yeah. and it's unfortunate that it's one of the reasons it's affected women so much more so than it has, say, men. Not to say that men are exempt. Um, I have a little sort of a theory that because originally when they were sort of discovering narcissism and terming it and things like that, it was a male dominated illness. And from what I've noticed is the victims
Yeah.
kind of like they up the ante. So women were a victim of the men, maybe originally, but by being victims, they kind of up the ante. So they became the new narcissist, worse. They became worse than their oppressor.
All right.
So what we might be seeing in the future is now that men are becoming the victims of narcissism, is that men up the game and become like ultra narcissists or something like that, or alpha narcissists or something. And there'll be this arms race of going backwards or forwards on who could be more abusive than the other.
Alpha narcissist. I'm up for it.
The
Are you,
apex.
Billy?
Well, people call me narcissist all the time.
All right.
I get called poisonous, venomous, the devil, evil, narcissist.
I'll just listen.
But yeah, so the reason why I think women are more susceptible to narcissism by being more emotionally based, which they acknowledge they are, and more socialized, then they have a kind of either a weaker boundary or they are more flexible, or there's some sort of issue with their boundaries. Like it's porous. It's got like it's like a sponge or something. It's got like lots of little holes, and so women can become very impressionable if they're not careful. Because they want cohesion with society. They want to be able to relate to their sisterhood or to their family and things like that. So they need to absorb what's around them a lot more. And unfortunately, if narcissism is surrounding them, then they're going to sort of pick up on it more easily. And then it kind of infiltrates their boundaries, gets into their system, and wreaks havoc. And then and narcissism, like discovering Thor's hammer, when people stumble upon it, it presents itself as a solution. So, imagine like you're walking around, and let's say narcissism somehow was a object, like a fungus or something, like a mushroom. I don't know. Like instead of staying away from this deadly mushroom, they're like, "Ooh, this looks tasty, yummy," and they pick it up and they go, "Ooh, problem solved. I've got something for dinner tonight." And it's like, no, deadly. Sorry, my analogies are probably a bit out there, but
Hold on. Don't hang up yet.
yeah.
All right.
Well, what I'm saying is, if people see narcissism, instead of embracing like, "Oh wow, I found a solution," they need to be seeking caution. It's the Faustian narcissism is like the Faustian deal with the devil. The devil makes the promise of like, "I will give you superpowers," but it comes at the cost of your soul. So these people they want the powers. They want the like, to be a super being. They want the devil's promise, but they blasé just like, okay, I guess I sell my soul then, and the devil's laughing.
Exactly. It kind of seems like what you just described is becoming a cost anymore. Not a price, but a cost. These kids gotta pay.
Well, they grew up with transactional love, so that's the transaction. So it's like I will purchase my immortality and superpowers at the cost of my soul and integrity and who I am. And also, they think it's a bargain price because who they are, they don't fucking like anyway because they got so much shame. It's like, I'll be glad to get rid of it. You want my soul? You could gladly have it. You know, you're going to give me superpowers for it? Okay. Bargain.
Yep. And you talked about something really important there, the shame that's going on in the classroom, the shame that's going on at home, you know, with these kids, you know, the shame, that's a big deal. I mean, that really shapes people. You know, if you shame a child, man, you ain't doing nothing good.
No, yeah. It's, shame is deadly, deadly, and it sneaks up in all sorts of ways. You want to
Yep.
hear one? You want to hear one way that it sneaks up like a bitch?
Yes.
When people talk about pride.
Yep. And then I think that could probably turn into, you know, murder. And anyway,
When they say, if you hear someone talking about like, I've got too much pride, that's not them saying like well, they are trying to say they're proud of themselves, but what they're really saying is, I've got too much shame.
that's a good point. And that is something I should probably look out for. Thank
So,
you. Yep. Okay.
It's like, so pride is the cover story or the narrative. It's the denial. It's the shameful way of saying, or of trying not to say, I have shame.
Yep.
I'm so shameful, I can't say I feel shame. So instead, I say, well, I've got too much pride.
You know what?
Or if you say to someone like, oh, that person, you know, you hurt their pride. What does that mean? Translation, it means you made them feel ashamed.
What you just said sounds a lot like myself. And yeah, shame is a bad thing. But yeah, you know what? I've tried to replace pride with shame. So, god damn.
Yeah.
Billy, what the fuck?
Little thing. That's why I said like it's a little bit of a bitch because it sneaks up in all sorts of little ways you don't realize it.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds innocent. It sounds like when someone talks about like, oh yeah, I've got pride. You think, oh, that's a virtuous thing. That's a good thing. Oh, it's good to have pride. Yeah. But what he's really saying is like, well, that's my ego talking. My ego is telling me like, hey, we got this. We're good. We're secure. We're safe. We'll call it pride. You know.
Yeah. And then, you know, if you're just trying to call it something, you know, this, that, and the other, you can never really identify it. And then you're going to continue to have trouble with your own identity. Yeah.
That's right. So that's how the shame gets away from being accountable and sneaks off.
Yeah. All right.
It hides in the shadow because now you're focusing on this idea of pride and virtue, and you think it's a good thing. You think it's good to have pride, but what you're really saying is it's good to have shame. So
God damn, bro. Yeah.
You know, so you're feeding the monster without realizing it. And the more shame you might have deep down, and that you don't want to acknowledge it's there, the more you'll probably say like, well, I've got a lot of pride then to counter it. I'm full of pride. I'm in excess of pride. And it's like, wow, that's someone who's hurting deep.
You know what I think now that you explain that there are so many men out here that have a lot of shit to work through because they're thinking that way. And, you know, like you explained to me that thinking was wrong. A lot of these men, they got that thinking, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like that, they've got to prove themselves, you know, so like pride will start to become like, well, I'll be bold, I'll be stoic or something like this, or I will be boisterous or bravado, or I'll be extravagant, I'll be bigger than life kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then with other things, it's easier to see. Like when people when they give themselves a name. Let's say they call themselves Grandmaster, God, Superior, Alpha, Apex, Sigma dominatrix man. It's like, well, Superman. It's like, this is someone who has like insecurity problem, like inferiority problems. It's like, no way are you all these things. Like, so it's easier to spot when it's like that. But
Are you talking about channels?
Channels, or just people's names, or the way the kind of they kind of they overinflate, they granditize
Okay.
themselves,
Yeah.
like
Okay. I get
self-important.
that. Yeah.
So it sometimes appears in their name, or their channel name, but it doesn't necessarily have to be like that. It could be just how they describe themselves. Like a PUA life coach might sort of say, like, I'm the alpha apex predator, or whatever. And it's like, really, I'm one step from God kind of thing, or like, oh, I've met God, I've touched the hand of God. It's like, really, you're in God's graces, are you? I mean, even on a more subtle one, a recent one I experienced was a meme that was it was from a woman that says, like, she is strong, she is very strong, but underneath there is a tsunami of heartache and pain, or whatever.
Who the fuck wants that?
I left a message on that, and I said, "Is it just me, or is this like virtuous and victimizing at the same time?" And a lot of people were tipsy over it, like, ooh. I was like, because the way it's written, it's not like I am strong, yet I have a
Right.
tsunami of pain and heartache, or I am in the process of being strong. These are like affirmations, like this is written in stone. I am present tense. I am strong. However, I am also not strong, because I'm obviously, because I got a tsunami of heartache and loss. So it's like,
No, Billy,
so why is it they can't? Sorry, yes.
Billy, you are strong. Um, you are strong.
I didn't write it. Well, my response to it was like,
Okay.
what's so wrong? What's so hard about saying, like, look, I'm not saying that this person isn't a victim, that they haven't got a tsunami of heartache and problems. It's this over in, confidence of saying, you're like, what's wrong with saying, like, I am human, I am weak, I'm trying to be strong because I have these issues inside me. I mean, in fact, like, how can I sympathize with someone if they're telling me they're super strong? That's because that's what they're doing. They're trying to garner sympathy from the audience, but they're trying to say that they're tough as nails. It's like, well,
Well,
why would I sympathize with someone who's apparently tough as nails?
I think that would take something that needs to be deciphered. I mean, that
I think you got cut off there, Angler. We can't hear you, man. Oh, you'll do an Arnie on us. He'll be back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're
I
saying
think that would take something to maybe figure out. I don't think that we have to be tough as nails to do that. We just got to hear enough from certain people to start to figure out things for ourselves and realize who we should hang out with and who we shouldn't. And
well, that's it. Yeah, like in the beginning we were saying, like, honesty and truth. In that way, if you want to be strong, that's where your strength really is. But going towards what we're talking about, this idea of pride being a cover for shame. Well, there's another example where someone will say that they're strong in order to deflect from admitting, because they feel so shame of not being strong.
okay,
It
I
hurts
understand
to
that.
you acknowledge that they're human, they're not comfortable with that, and that's a real pity. And this is why they're like, "Well, I'm so super virtuous and heroic or whatever. I'm so strong. I'm the alpha apex, blah blah blah." And it's like you've now disassociated yourself from being human.
No, it is a real pity to and you just said it right yourself, to hear somebody say that and to know that they came to you with their shame. Those are the people that really need to be helped. These people that are feeling shame. Now, if they did something to cause real shame, okay, you should have to live with your shame. But I think you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, embarrassment might be a nicer way if they can turn their shame into a form of kind of like embarrassment. That can kind of soften the blow a little bit. Maybe that might be a result of processing. So once you process the shame, it turns into embarrassment.
I think that the real shame, though, I think it. I mean, let's be honest about it. It turned up with their parents. Those are
Yeah,
the people that taught them what shame really is.
yeah, most,
They put shame on them. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, parents, and then maybe like the institution of the schools, and then society and friends. I mean, that's the kind of close like think about a child and what's in their proximity. Those would be the kind of things.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
And then as they get older and they kind of venture out like independently, depending on what kind of mischief they get involved with, chances are that will add to the shame. So let's say they start becoming thieves, or they become party animals or something like that. Yeah, they might think it's fun and adventurous at the time, but well, look at the things that people start to regret when they're older, and there you go. That's kind of like the echoes of their shame.
Oh, Billy, I don't feel anything like that at all.
Uh, yeah, I mean,
But yeah.
Bill,
Yep.
yeah, like we shouldn't really like regret is a bit of a waste of it's it's kind of like pouting almost.
Mhm.
Um, you know,
Yeah, that's a good point. Now, Billy, like I don't have a plan for it, but I just want to be virtuous, and teach values to my kiddo. And I know that you want to do the same thing. So, um, I really don't even know the question to ask here, but I know that we both want the best for our kids. And what are your plans for that?
um, well, currently in the sort of here and now, it's stability, emotional regulation, self-esteem, um, and with self-esteem will be like identity, self-respect. Um,
Right.
Stability will have things like routine with it. Um, in the nearer future, as we're working on, as she's getting older, I'm trying to get her used to the idea of becoming more responsible and accountable. Um, to not to let go of being so controlling of other people and the situation, what's going on around her, rather than well, that's beyond her. Um, like, because in the school, for example, in her classroom, she'll try and run the entire classroom. It's like, no, that's not. You're out of bounds. No, you control your bedroom. So tidy up your room. Don't be trying to dictate and be a little fascist. Or in the playground, when it's home time and I pick her up, she'll go up to the other parents trying to scrounge food off them, which is fucking embarrassing. But it's like you stop doing that.
Yep. You know what? I imagine that her trying to run the classroom, that was like a survival type thing, you know.
Well, part
But
yeah, and also like as a like think narcissism. So she's the center of the universe in her mind. So she's trying to control the world around her.
so you are worried about that aspect?
Um, a little, not in the abusive, malicious, exploitative, uh, um,
Okay.
like evil way of narcissism, but in terms of the themes of like the controlling aspect or um, being quite angry or frustrated, because that's where they overlap. So like the narcissist will be angry and frustrated at other people, even though really they're angry and frustrated at themselves, but they have to project it outwards. So they're angry at people.
Uh,
Whereas with
okay.
my kid, she might be angry with people, but it's the reverse. So she'll be angry with them, but she'll start being angry with herself.
Well, Billy, how are you doing with all that? Are you good?
Um, it's a work in progress, I suppose, and that could be a cop out of an answer, but it's something that I'm having to uh, educate myself on more and more because it can be frustrating. Like as a parent, it can also be frustrating. Like there'll be times maybe I might lose my temper or get
Oh,
frustrated that she's not picking up things which I thought she would, or she's treating me like a slave, and I'm like, whoa, 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 I'm pretty beat up right now. I'm not in the mood, kind of thing.
no, I get
Um,
that for sure. You know,
so so sometimes I have like how you have to be like a role model. So in some ways, like to teach her how can I teach her to have anger management if I'm the one losing my temper? So if I can control my temper some
yeah,
way,
that's a
you know,
good question.
if I can show her like daddy's angry right now, but if you notice, I'm not shouting and I'm not blowing things up or destroying things. I'm actually gonna go have a I'm gonna give myself a little timeout to cool off. So I'm giving her a real life example of how to manage anger
Hmm.
by using myself as a guinea pig.
Sure.
Now, hopefully, she'll pick up that, and so it's not me having to tell her like, "Hey, why don't you um, stop shouting, and why don't you stop throwing things around the room, and why don't you have a timeout?" You know, so I don't have to tell her directly. Instead, I can just be the example for her to model from. I mean, there are
Billy,
times I'll literally say it to her. I'll be like, "Hey, hey, hey, like, please don't throw that," or "Hey, hey, hey, ouch, that hurts. Don't go stabbing me with a pencil, please," you know? But, um, yeah, well, it
Billy,
doesn't have to be perfect
I,
either,
I
you know?
think that these kids, I think they pick up on a lot. Um, but you know what, man? I don't have an autistic kid, so it's hard for me to relate with you for that. But I've learned what autism is,
Yeah.
and
But
it's going to be harder. Go ahead, bro.
well, it's, um, it's we all have our challenges. So in my case, in some ways, what's to my advantage is that I'm a single dad. I don't have to co-parent. So I really do get the opportunity, the luxury in a way, um, to really influence my kid's life. Now it's down to me how responsible and how I um, deal with that kind of thing. Like if I want to be a good example, I can be. If I want to be a bad example, I can be. So like one of the ways of telling of if you want to know how someone's household is, if you want to know what a person's household is like, don't ask the parents. Go have a look at the kids. The kids will be a reflection of how the house is.
Good point. Yeah.
So if you look at how my kid behaves, and again, maybe I might be a bias, but from what I gather from teachers and other parents, um, they find my child artistic, funny, bubbly, um, caring, nice, sort of, nice things. I don't have anything really bad to say about her. So
Mhm.
that kind of gives me a bit of gives me a bit of pride. It gives me a bit of pleasure or whatever. I mean, it helps reassure me that okay, yeah, I might not have things perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect, but at least at least she's not the bloody devil. At least she's not a little monster, even though she can be at times. She's got a good heart, kind of thing, underneath all of that.
Okay.
Uh, but the challenge is that for example, with your kid, if you don't mind me saying, but your kid is you're co-parenting, aren't you?
Doing my best, but
Right.
yes.
So that is a big for me. I couldn't. I had that option. I tried to co-parent with my partner, but I knew it wasn't going to happen. And I don't.
Yeah.
The thing is, depending like the way things are with narcissistic partners, and I'm not saying that your partner is one, but quite a lot of the times, co-parenting, I see it more as counter-parenting. You're having to try and undo the damage the other parent is doing because you don't necessarily know what the other parent is doing. Look at how many people are getting alienated by their kids thanks to the other parent.
That's a very good point. And yeah, I have dealt with that quite a bit, but I think uh I think me and his mother's mom, I think we're finally reaching the place. But then again, I would probably be very fucking stupid to trust that. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's good that you're aware of it and you're trying your best, and it seems as though the two of you are working together. I mean, that's pretty much like I think on paper the best you can kind of hope for in a situation like that, really, I guess.
yeah.
But even then, it must be not just I'm not isolating it just to your situation, but for any kid who's having to sort of see their parents split up and have two different homes, it must. I don't know how it
Oh,
would work in
you
their
know,
mind.
I think well, goddamn. This is going to sound pretty drastic, but I think it rips them in two. You know,
That's what I
they have
think.
to
Yeah,
they have to live. They understand that their mother is a part of them and that their father is a part of them, and they have to live in these two places.
and
And
they're very young as well. And it's like
yeah,
I try and like if I was to try and time travel, and I'm now a 7-year-old little boy kind of thing. My parents are separated, and I don't know how far apart, like logistically, you are, but I'd be too young to understand. Like, why can't my mum and dad live together? Why can't we all be in one house? You know what I mean?
Billy,
Because
goddamn,
it's a
I,
big
I worry
secret.
about my kiddo so much. He's only 7 years old, and
Exactly.
like I think he's starting to understand. He still asks questions about that, but when he asks, why can't you and mom live together? It breaks my fucking heart. You know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, my kids still ask about her mum, and the way I've had to say to explain it to my kid, because like, how on earth do I can't say to my kid, "Oh, mum is a was is abusive and fucked us over and didn't give a shit about me or you," kind of thing. I can't say that. So the best I came up with in the end was like, well, I'm sorry, mum ain't here. I miss her too, kind of thing. I wish things were different as well. But mum is so unwell. She's so ill in the head kind of thing that she can't uh, think about her priorities clearly. So she can't think straight, and that's why she's not here. Because my kid at one point was like, "Oh, is mum dead?" And I'm like, "No, no, no, your mum's not dead. No, she's all. No, let's hope she's all right. She's doing okay. She's so unwell that she can't think how to be a mother at this point, and because of that, you know, she can't be here to be your mother. I mean, that's the best I could come up with.
What else could you come up with? You know, it, what the hell do you say to these little people? You know, without hurting their feelings, or one
Yeah,
thing you don't do is you do not turn them against the other parent. And
exactly. Well, at one point, my kid was like, "When I grow up, I want to be a doctor," and I thought, "Fuck," like that's so kind of sweet, like and it just shows you how much she misses her mum as well. But it's a tough one, So these are the kind of challenges that are going to crop up from time to time. It's not going to be like the end of it. And I'm sure same with your kid. He's going to carry on wondering, sort of thing.
and you know what, Billy? I've listened to you a lot. Mostly on Good Mother's channel, but I've listened to you a lot. You showed up when I was in a really bad place, but now that I'm coming out of my own funk, I'm able to listen to you more, and I hear more about you. If that makes sense.
Well, I'm being more open.
Yeah, you are.
So if it
I,
helps
I
people,
I
then
didn't know that you had a daughter with autism.
yeah. I haven't kept it particularly a secret or anything like that. It's just I don't know. I bring it up if I think it's either relevant or needs mentioning or something like that. So he'll be back again. Must be modern technology. So I appreciate everyone in the comments, by the way. And yet again, I'm sorry that I'm not really reading them out. But as you can tell, we're engaged in a conversation. I see Rib Grunt is here. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. David Smith, greetings. It seems like some of you guys are heading off, so thank you for your time and for being here. And Angler's back.
Okay. Hey.
Yeah.
Chris Mitchell just dropped the link.
Oh,
I think that we should go there. What do you think?
Oh yes, Chris is here. Yeah. Is he okay? Is he streaming? What's he up to?
That's what I gathered. I'm not sure. I've not went there yet. So
yeah, I suppose we can sort of wind it down, shut it down, or something like that. We've had I've been live according to the clock here for 2.5 hours. So
okay. Will I see you at Chris Mitchell's?
Yeah, I might pop in for a little while.
Okay.
I'll see how busy the panel is. I might be in the chat box instead. It's already 1:30 in the morning here for me, so it's getting a little bit late. But
Billy, I want to say something to you. I appreciate you. I appreciate your intelligence. This is stuff that I had to hear a long time ago, but I'm hearing it now. And thank you. Okay.
Well, thank you, Angler. Very kind words. Makes me feel a bit. I'm not used to compliments, but I do appreciate.
Swallow your pride. Let's go see Chris.
Pride again. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We'll say the bromance for later. All right. So
okay.
everyone in the chat box, thank you for coming. And Angler, thank you for being on the panel. And I won't be keeping this live stream public, unfortunately. This is just a chit chat. So if you I don't know, feel free to download it or something like that if you want. But otherwise, I'll be deleting it or privatizing it or something. Sorry about that, but
No, keep it out here. That's what it's for. That's what we're trying to do. So hopefully I'll see you over on
yeah.
Chris's live
So let's
stream here in a minute. All right.
okay. All right. Cue some sort of outro music or whatever. We'll shut this down. All right. 5.